Hey there everybody, this is Rob Dad, and today I'm going to be showing you how I make the garlic chicken Parmesan meatballs that I make for our family for dinner. So stay with me and watch how I do this, and if you like it, I'll put the recipe up for you guys to be able to make this at home. It's very simple, fast to make, easy to make for your family for dinner. So first of all, you're going to start with 2 pounds of ground chicken. So hopefully you got that defrosted if you bought it frozen. Add it to a mixing bowl here. If you need to, you can always cut this down to 1 pound. Just make sure you cut all the other ingredients down to half for that too, in case you're only feeding maybe 2 instead of 4 like me. All right. Next, we got to do these eggs. Lucky for me, I've got eggs from our fresh chickens that we raise outside, because we live more out in the country where I'm at. Alright. So you want to do three if they're larger eggs, 4 if they're smaller eggs. Not to get too many of the shells in there, right? Beat those. Real simple, don't really have to add too much of anything. Just going to act as a binder. Like usually if I'm making this for like scrambled eggs or something like that, then I'll add salt, pepper, a little bit of milk for texture. Just depends. But usually it's baking, cooking, mixing with somebody or something else, just get a good blend. Also, if you're trying to eat healthier, you could always take the yolks out too, just do the egg whites, but I don't know, you lose a lot of flavor without having the yolks in there in my opinion, so just want to get that nice, all mixed up, it's all one color. Pour that in there, ground chicken. Now you notice I don't do a lot of measuring, I tend to do things free pour, freehand. I would put measurements on the recipe for those of you that just aren't as good at that or too nervous that the recipe's not going to come out well. So maybe about a scoop of the garlic here, ground crushed garlic. I prefer the one that's in oil. Has a little bit better flavor with oil as opposed to water. Lasts longer too. Alright, I always have some salt and pepper for just about every step, every stage, and most recipes, most ingredients. It's always a good idea to add it in. Basic seasonings. Alright. I like to use panko for the breadcrumbs. Toss them out in there. Give it a little bit of heat. Red pepper. Depends on how much you like heat. You put a lot more in here if you like it really spicy. If you want just a little bit of spice, I'd say you go easy on those. And you gotta have a little bit of ground parsley is always good to have. Fresh is better if you got it. And of course, can't be Parmesan chicken meatballs without Parmesan, key ingredient. Alright. Usually do most of the bag, sometimes the whole bag. It's about 6 ounces. Really gives it better flavor, I think. A little more in there. We're just going to take that and make sure your hands are washed first, of course. Messing with any raw eggs or anything else. So be careful you don't get that, well, anywhere else, cross contamination, all that kind of stuff. So, yep, hands are clean. Go ahead and go to the mixing. So now the goal is to get it all nice and mixed up, and then we'll separate it into smaller little meatballs that we're basically going to fry up in a pan. Like I said, real simple. This takes 10-15 minutes. You can make it real fast. It's easy for family dinners. Then along with this, of course, I think I'll make some very basic pasta too. in there. It's gotta be sticky, it's gonna be nasty. If you're really squeamish, you can always use gloves. The more you cook, I think the more comfortable you'll get. Yeah, make sure you get a good mixture. I'm all about consistency and evenness. You really want to get a blend of anything you're trying to mix together. I think that if you basically just do a sloppy job of putting it together or mixing it, you're going to get uneven, unbalanced flavors. I like to try to have it as balanced as possible so that somebody's eating it, it's the bite is the same no matter what part they're eating. So, the taste, I should say. See, it's coming together there. Kind of getting a little sticky. It'll be easier to make the meatballs. They are going to be, depending how much you put in here, meat versus breadcrumbs or how much egg, will change a little bit of the consistency, but as long as you can get enough together, you should be okay. The idea is to form a good sized little meatball and split them up on the plates here. Hopefully you can see that. So don't worry about it being sticky, losing pieces. You just got to get it to most of you together. Try to get close to the same size as possible. That is key. That way they cook more all at the same pace. Touch too much because it gets stuck together. One plate. Depending on size, usually get about close to 10 of these. You can make them smaller, especially if you got kids, they like them smaller. You see it's a little uneven, you can just go back and grab some of it, it's really easy. See, it's a little bit different size in that one, so a little closer size, like I mentioned. Right. Like I said, definitely messy, but it'll be good. Small in here, so I think I'm going to steal a little more from that one that was a little bigger. Some of these other ones are a little bit bigger too. It's kind of scavenge. Not necessarily about perfection, right? They're not going to look like the prettiest things in the world, but as long as they taste good, that's really what matters. Your family will like them. Hopefully you will too. Wash up real quick. I'll show you how I cook them. Move the camera here. You guys get a better setup over here in the kitchen, close to my stove. Nothing fancy, basic kitchen, basic stove. I prefer gas. Got a nice gas stove. Cooks a little faster. It's up to you. All of them are good, honestly. As long as you got a stove, it'll make life easier. Next, need some oil. My preference is peanut oil. Yes, it's higher calorie. Let me tell you, the flavor is a lot better. You want to get like maybe half an inch, quarter inch in the pan. You don't really need a ton. You do want to try to get a pan that's big enough to fit them all at once, because then you can kind of cook them all at the same speed. Otherwise, you got to do it in batches, and lots of pain. So for me, it's mostly speed. I'm usually too busy at work and all the other things, just trying to make time to be able to get dinner made too, while my wife's busy working and just trying to get everything done for the family. So, all right, so let that heat up on high. Kind of just blast it for a little bit. Don't overcook the oil. You got to keep an eye on it. I only blast it on high for a little bit, and then I'll bring it back down to about 6 or 7, or 5 or 6, more like the medium settings. depending on what your stove's set up for. Alright, so while we're doing that, we're going to get the stuff ready for the pasta. So of course you want a big pasta bowl for that. Always add salt. It's a must. Don't overdo it. Light dusting of salt is always good to add to the water. You should always boil the water first, right? So get some hot water. A nice trick too, I try to cut down on time. I try to let the faucet water get as hot as I possibly can. Fill it up with that first, so then you're already starting with a much warmer temperature water. It'll boil a lot quicker if you do that, so it helps with the time. I usually do about half full, a little above half full. Get that started boiling. Back to this, turn the temperature down a little bit, like I said, more than 5-6 range. You can kind of see when it's starting to get ready with the oil. You'll see it pop up a little bit. Like I said, you don't want to burn the oil. You do need to be careful when you're getting started with this, depending on how much you cook with oil. But you do need it nice and hot, so it'll cook better. That'll keep these together too from falling apart. Should be pretty good at this point. Drop these in. It's like I said, it's a little messy. Get them in there. It's hot enough. You'll hear a little bit of frying noise. It's a good sign. Make room. Don't touch the oil. It might be hot as long as you're only touching what you're putting in. You should be fine. Use a spatula. Use something else if you're not comfortable. Don't burn your hands. Not worth it just to try to make dinner. Paper plates. I know it's not the best, maybe environmental wise, but cuts down on the cleanup. So, there. Space. As soon as you get it in the oil, they really won't stick together too much. You want to get just a teeny bit of space in between. You don't really want them touching as much as possible. If you move them a little bit by hand, be careful. Like I said, try not to burn yourself. See, you didn't even need that much oil because it's filling up a whole bunch and you're just putting these in there. As long as you're getting about half of one side of the meatball in there, it should be good. It's a little close. I'll fix that in a second. Clean steps, make sure you're washing your hands. Running on raw chicken, raw egg, other things are not good. I want to mix that into something else. That would be bad. Alright. Move around. Use tongs. Like I said, you can kind of check. Just make sure they're not sticking too much. If you move around too much, they'll come apart. It's still early. I'm trying to kind of come together. So. Good. Plate ready for these. I typically just use some sort of napkin, towel, something to put down. That'll help us over grease when you can take them out. So let that cook. I can show you the pasta we're going to make. Probably going to make half today. It's from a nice Italian place that's not too far from here that you can buy like real made Italian pastas, right? Making pasta is very difficult, so it's fine that you can buy dry pasta. Makes life a lot easier, also makes this quick for the recipe, but of course you can use anything. You can use any kind of basic pasta. This is just what I'm making today. I'll make anything from something with a red sauce or something with a butter cheese sauce. I'll probably just do a butter cheese sauce today to show you because it's really fast. And really you can use, like I said, any type of shape of pasta. It doesn't really matter. But this is originelli type pasta. Just keep an eye on these. It does take a while to cook. Probably like say 10 to 15 minutes to actually cook these. You want to make sure that it gets all the way through. This is chicken, it's not a beef. And chicken and poultry or pork, you got to make sure it's cooked all the way through, so be careful. I'll give it another minute or two and then I'll start flipping them because the bottoms are cooking faster than the tops. Flip them, probably flip them 3 or 4 times throughout the process to get them cooked all the way through. If you're really nervous too, once you're towards the end of this, towards the end of the cooking time, cut one open. It might not be pretty afterwards, but you can at least cut one open, make sure it's cooked all the way through the center. So. Ready, and we'll get some stuff ready for the pasta. The pasta is going to be real simple, like I said. Typically, I use one whole stick of butter. That's going to go in to make the sauce, essentially. And I use some type of cheese. Probably just go with a regular Parmesan for today, make it real simple. You can use Swiss, you can use gourmet cheeses. Honestly, the better the cheese quality that you use, the better that mixture of pasta and butter, or cheese and butter is going to come out. But it's just a real light kind of sauce, really. With the exception of the butter. So it's about time to flip these. It's kind of hard. If you've got tongs, those are usually the best. So you kind of grab them. A little hard the first flip, just because they're not quite fully formed yet or fully together. So the more you let them sit in here, the more form they're going to get. The better off they'll be. They won't come apart on you. Try to hold them together. Like I said, they're not perfectly round, but they're still meatballs. Alright, see that? You can see the brown on the bottom there. It's a good sign. It's cooking well. Make sure you get each one. Don't forget to flip aside. Keep track of which one you're moving. There we go. And on the other side here. This is nice too because it's easier to pan fry. I've got a deep fryer, but I use so much oil with a deep fryer, I'd rather pan fry. In fact, like I said, I could have even used less oil. I don't think it needed that much. Usually it's a little lower when I cook this. So. Okay. Make sure it always helps if you've got a lid on top of the pot you're trying to boil. Some ovens, depending on which ones, even have like quick burners or like the highest, most powerful burner that are best for being able to boil. You want to use that. I'm actually using it for the oil instead. So I'm using my second strongest burner back here to try to get this moving. But should have plenty of time. Pasta doesn't take very long to cook. So. I think I'll pause it right here and then I'll come back and I will show you these when they're all down, brown and done. Like I said, it should take about another 5-10 minutes. Don't want to bore you with the video, so I will jump back in when they're ready. Alright, I'm back. The pasta water just about boiling now, so it should be good. Gonna get that pasta in there. There we go. Like I said, you can use any kind of pasta, it doesn't have to be fancy, Walmart's, whatever. Simple, usually best. That in there. Keep an eye on it. I don't want it to overboil, of course. Got some sort of pasta mixer, strainer, or something. I usually use a whole big strainer to strain it out when I'm done. But you want to get it so it doesn't clump together. Give it a few minutes to kind of break apart, get a little soft, and you can move it all around. You can see you're getting more brown here on the chicken. You move those around. You get tricky with these. You can even kind of like set them on their sides a little bit. You basically just want to brown them as much as possible, right? But usually I just keep letting these go while I work on finishing the pasta. So the whole meal is done. Get a nice color on there. If you see a side that's less colored or less brown than the other sides, then try to get a flip on that side if possible. If not, it's okay. Get a nice crispy texture to them. I promise they won't get burnt. You can crisp them to as much as you want on the outside, and they'll still be nice and soft and good texture. Keep an eye on that. Break this pasta up a little bit. Very nice. You can move the lid off at this point. Just keep an eye on it so it doesn't boil over. Checking on the meatballs here. Looking real good. It's definitely one of my faster recipes. Some stuff just takes a lot of extra time. You can even prep this kind of stuff and make life easier. You saw me mix everything in the beginning there. You can mix all of the meat mixture together, cover it up, put it in the fridge. You have it ready for the next day. You can put them in meatball form already, as long as they're covered, protected, in the fridge, and then they're ready to go, ready to fry up. Always stir in between every now and then. Just get a really good breakup of all the noodles that are in there. What type of pasta it might be. It won't take very long at all. It's pretty thin. Thicker, obviously thicker the noodle, thicker the pasta, the longer it's going to take to cook. There we go. Just gotta keep flipping them around, like I said. Don't worry about the oil burning too much. If you do see them getting out of control, you can turn the temperature down a little bit more. So you don't want to burn the oil too much. You can kind of see the color a little bit in there. You want to kind of keep them on the clear side. It's going to be pieces that break off, and you know, it won't be perfect. It'll be more dirty afterwards. But be careful with the oil, of course, on the stove. And start a fire, obviously, if you get it out. If that ever did happen, have a top, always have a top somewhere in your kitchen somewhere, so you can cut out the oxygen, cut the oxygen out, you'll cut the flame out and turn off your stove, of course. Alright, I'll go ahead and try a piece there. Well, alright, here's all you want, al dente. Just a little bit less cooked. You can have it more soft cooked. I found that usually likes to cook all the way, so that's typically what I do. So I take this over to the sink, I'll strain it real quick, be right back over. Strained out in there, get back in the original pan. You kind of want to act fast with this. You're going to do this with the butter and the cheese. It acts like a sauce. All you do is get that first stick of butter right in there. It's nice and getting melted. I do sometimes add a little bit of oil. Don't want to go too crazy. Olive oil is good for taste. You're trying to make a sauce. You don't want to go too nuts with it. It's sick if you make too much oil on the sauce. Careful, yeah, these can pop sometimes. So I'm back to the chicken here. So you're just kind of moving it around. See how it's got a real nice crust on there. Honestly, sometimes that's the best tasting part, is the outside of it with that crust on there. Yeah, like I said, always just kind of keep flipping to the less cooked side, the one that's the least amount of color on it. That'll make sure you're cooking all the way through. for this pasta. We got it moving, sorted. Some kind of, I prefer wooden ones. It seems to be a little better than kind of mixed pasta. You can kind of like cut the butter up a little bit, so it's a little bit easier and a little faster. Sometimes helps too if the pot's not hot enough still from everything. Put a little flame on underneath. I wouldn't recommend a lot. You don't want to burn the pasta. Just a little bit to get it going. You really want to get most of the butter melted first. That's key. Stir in there, let that heat break down that butter, melt it all. You can always melt the butter ahead of time too. These are doing pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and shut that off. The oil's going to keep cooking them. Be careful not to burn them too much. That will happen if you're not rotating, you know. You want to kind of make sure they're moving, right? So the oil will stay hot, keep cooking them. They're pretty much done, but like I said, I like them really crispy. Back to this. Now we can add the cheese because the butter's melted. I'm just doing real basic standard Parmesan, nothing fancy. Really one bag. It's got about 6 ounces. A little bit extra in there. Get that flame going, like I said. Get it a little hot, mix it up. I think I did a little more pasta than I normally do, so I think I'm going to grab a teeny bit more butter to get in there. So. Also, use real butter, margarine, and all that other kind of stuff. It really just doesn't have the right kind of taste. Trust me, it'll taste a lot better with real butter. I know more calories and all that, but if you want it to taste good, you need the calories. That mix in. It's kind of hard to even tell if there's a sauce or anything in there at all. Give it a minute to kind of cook down just a little bit. Doesn't need much at all. It's very light cooking to make this sauce, or make this butter cheese sauce. These are done, so we're going to go ahead and pop those out before they get too overcooked. Those look nice, nice and fresh, homemade, really easy, simple, basic ingredients, probably stuff you got just sitting in the kitchen. Half the time that's what I'm looking for too, it's just what do I got in the kitchen I can make. I don't have to go to the store. Like I said, I mentioned I live out of the country, so it takes a while to go to the grocery store, so I'd rather just try to work with what I got. So, there we go, that's almost done. Sometimes it does stick a little bit to that spoon, but mixed up in there. Like I said, real light flavor on there. You're not looking for a lot. It's just enough to give it some taste beyond just the pasta. And then cracked pepper is a really good finisher for this type of pasta. If you don't have a little grinder or whatever, and some peppercorns, highly recommend getting that because it goes in a lot of dishes, adds a real specific kind of flavor, texture. Don't go overboard with it. This one takes a little while to grind, but it really gives you that, like, I guess, fresh homemade Italian pasta style, right? Alright, you can see it. Finished dish. I'm not going to plate or anything. I don't need to be that fancy, but hopefully you can see them both there. Let me show you. There we go. That's the finished dish. So that's dinner for us tonight. Like I said, garlic, Parmesan chicken meatballs, and then a Parmesan butter pasta sauce with just any kind of pasta. All right. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. And like I said, check my recipe out and follow me for more cooking recipes. And I hope you like it. Thank you.